Welcome. Today we're diving into a really cool idea in design. What if our products didn't create waste? We're going to explore how we can take a page from nature's playbook to create things that follow a biological cycle, returning to the earth instead of just piling up in a landfill.
So, let me start with a question for you. Think about the last package you opened. Now, imagine if that box wasn't just some dead material, destined for the recycling bin. What if it was actually designed from the very start to return to the earth as cleanly and as completely as a fallen leaf in a forest? And that brings us to our first example, a simple cardboard box. Now, its first life, that's pretty obvious. It's a tough, protective shipping container. But what if that was just the beginning of its story?
And that right there is the key difference. See, the vast majority of products we use every day are designed for just one purpose. They have one life, and then they become trash. But this box, designed with nature in mind, is engineered to have 4 totally distinct, valuable lives. So how on earth is that even possible?
What's possible through this brilliant biological strategy, and it's known as cascade use. I want you to think of a waterfall. The water flows from a high point to a lower one, and then to one even lower, right? This strategy applies that exact same idea to materials, letting us get more and more value out of them, step by step.
So what does cascade use actually mean? Well, it's all about taking a biological resource, what we call biomass, like the wood fibers in our box, and just keeping it in play for as long as possible. With each new use, the material's quality might degrade a little bit, but it continues to create value. It's not waste, it's just moving on to the next stage of its journey.
And this is where you can really see the cascade in action. Life number 1, it has its highest value as protective packaging. Life number 2, it gets repurposed as a toy, maybe it's a castle or a canvas for creativity. Life number 3, it's collected and recycled into new paper products. And then finally, life number 4, when the fibers get too short to be recycled again, the material can be composted, returning all its nutrients safely to the soil. 4 lives from a single resource. Pretty amazing.
Okay, so cascade use is perfect for durable materials. But what about all the products we only need for a moment? Think about the foam packaging around a new TV, or single-use food containers. For those, we need a totally different approach. We need to design them to just disappear.
So this slide lays it out perfectly. We have 2 powerful but really distinct biological strategies. On the one hand, cascade use is all about extending a product's life through multiple cycles. On the other hand, design for biodegradation is kind of the opposite. It's for products with one intentionally short life cycle, but one that ends by safely and completely returning to nature.
And here is a fantastic example of that. This packaging you see here is made from mycelium, which is basically the root network of fungi. You've got companies like Ecovative and even big players like IKEA exploring it. They can literally grow it into custom shapes that replace plastics like styrofoam. And the best part? Once you're done with it, you don't throw it in the trash, you can literally just crumble it into your garden, where it biodegrades and becomes food for the soil.
So whether we're cascading materials through multiple lives or designing them to disappear, both of these strategies are part of a much bigger idea, learning from nature. I mean, think about it. Nature is the original and the ultimate circular system. For billions of years, it has operated perfectly without producing a single ounce of landfill waste.
It all comes back to this one fundamental principle, which is really at the heart of the whole cradle-to-cradle design philosophy. A fallen leaf isn't waste in a forest, it's future soil. An animal's exhale is the inhale for a plant. In any natural system, the outputs are always the inputs for something else. There's just no concept of garbage.
So why does all this matter? Well, because adopting these strategies is a really practical way to solve some huge environmental problems, from overflowing landfills and plastic-choked oceans to soil that's been depleted of nutrients. We start to see that waste isn't really waste at all. It's just a resource in the wrong place. And when you pull all these ideas together, it forces us to ask this really profound question. What if waste could simply vanish? These strategies prove it's not some kind of science fiction. It represents a fundamental shift in our mindset, from just trying to be less bad by reducing waste to being actively good by designing systems that are regenerative, just like nature. And I want to leave you with that thought. Look around the room you're in right now. Seriously, do it. Find one disposable item, a coffee cup, a takeout container, maybe a plastic pen. Now, using what we've just talked about, how could you redesign it? Could it have multiple lives through a cascade? Or could it be made from something like mycelium, designed from day one to just disappear? That, right there, is the future of design.